Popak with a Legal AF hot take. People are surprised that Michael Cohen secretly recorded Donald Trump, and they're becoming major bombshell evidence in the trial. I don't know why. We've been talking about Michael Cohen and his secretly recorded conversations with Donald Trump, which are at the heart of the criminal case against Donald Trump, for a year and a half. It's not even secret information that we got because Michael Cohen happens to be in our network. It's been public. We know for a fact it was listed by the prosecutors before trial started, when they had to disclose to the other side, the Trump side, all of the evidence that they were going to use against them at trial. That's over a year old. I was doing hot takes on that in 2023. And as we get closer to trial, they updated that list. Prosecutors have an obligation under our criminal justice system to inform the defendants of every piece of evidence they have in their possession, inculpatory, exculpatory, tending to prove guilt, tending to prove innocence, whatever it is. And they listed the Michael Cohen audio recordings a long time ago. I know mainstream media, is just waking up and going, the Cohen tapes. Yes, the Michael Cohen tapes. We joked that he brought the receipts. He's got the receipts. He's had the gift receipts for a long time against Donald Trump, particularly at the heart of the conspiracy. What am I talking about? Just one of several were already played for the jury in the New York criminal trial. I'm going to talk about it from a trial lawyer's perspective about the impact of that kind of audio evidence being played on a jury. Now, we like to say, and the jury will be instructed by the judge, that all evidence sort of has equal quality. All evidence sort of has equal weight. It could be circumstantial, it could be inferential, it could be documentary, it could be audio, it could be video. It's all by the judge instructs the jury as the trier of fact that you're to weigh the credibility of the evidence, you're to weigh the evidence. If it's a witness testimony, you're to weigh the credibility of witnesses, but it's all kind of the same weight as you put weights on a scale, right? The scales start balanced at trial, especially in a criminal trial where the person is presumed to be innocent. And then as evidence comes in to meet the prosecutor's beyond a reasonable doubt burden, the scale should tip one way or the other. For beyond a reasonable doubt, it has to tip substantially. But just because all evidence is of equal quality and equal weight, if you will, it doesn't mean it has the same impact on the jury. Let me repeat. Different types of evidence have different impacts on the jury, even if they're told to weigh them the same. Audio testimony, video testimony, right? A surveillance camera, a drone camera. In this case, a secretly recorded audio conversation between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, the defendant, is going to get the jury's attention. They won't be able to think of anything else. It changes the weather in the room from a trial lawyer. When I have an audio tape or a videotape on my side, I'm so excited in the trial. I can't wait to play it. I may even play it in the opening statement just to orient the jury. If I have a audio or video evidence or clip on the other side of me, I worry about it. I worry about how to take the sting away from that piece of evidence. I may even do that in the opening statement in order to normalize it for the jury before they actually hear it. You know who didn't do any of that? Todd Blanche, the lawyer for Donald Trump. He didn't talk about the secret recordings really at all. He only spent 20 minutes talking to the jury. There's been a lot of talk that in the insider camp of whatever that is of Donald Trump, that Trump's pissed off at his lawyers. They're not aggressive enough. He has to literally physically push them to stand up and make objections. He's trying to be his own strategist, because he's so successful at trial work. Right? 0-70 in the election interference cases, lost every case that matters in the last at least 3 years and more dating back 4 years, 3 times bankrupt. This is the guy you want to take legal strategy from if you're a practicing attorney. No doubt. It's a ticket to losing your law license. I'll just leave it at that. But Todd Blanche did a terrible job. We said it at the time, 20-minute opening. You don't try to pop the balloon for any of the major evidence. The jury isn't socialized about the secret tapes that you know are coming. I want to make this clear. These are not secret tapes to Donald Trump. These are not secret tapes to anybody that's been following legal AF. These are only secret tapes because people don't follow and they don't understand it. But the impact on the jury is tremendous. I'm going to play you the clip that was played in court, and then I'm going to play you a clip that hasn't been played in court and will be played in court that go to the heart of the conspiracy. Now, while Keith Davidson, the lawyer for both Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, two targets of the catch and kill program, the Trump Tower conspiracy, testified. They were able to bring in a recording between a Cohen and Donald Trump. Now, there's been some speculation that you have to wait until Cohen takes the stand to bring that type of evidence in. That's not true. You can bring it in earlier if somebody can identify the voices on the audio, and Trump's never denied that that's his voice. They can bring it in if they have to later tie it together with Michael Cohen later in the case before they move it into evidence. That's okay too. But they were able to play the audio. And in the audio, you'll hear it next, Cohen and Trump are talking about, in order to protect David Dennison, who's the secret code name that Michael Cohen, that Keith Davidson gave to Donald Trump. So when he spoke the love language with Michael Cohen to arrange the payoff for Stormy Daniels, they wouldn't have to keep saying Donald Trump, and it would be secret, except we all know about it now. So you'll hear Trump, Cohen talking about setting up a LLC, a limited liability company, in order to protect Trump. Let's play that clip.
Told you about Charleston. I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes. And it's all the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know what he's going to be. Correct. So I'm all over that.
Okay, but I want to socialize and normalize this issue for you, my audience. Not the first clip, not the last clip. Michael Cohen has at least half a dozen secretly recorded audio recordings. Nothing says I don't trust my client as a lawyer, and I'm probably participating in a fraud or crime, like a lawyer at the time, Michael Cohen, recording conversations he was having with Donald Trump. Now, there's a lot of side chatter and distracting noise around Keith Davidson's testimony and speculation. I watched it for hours on other news networks about, Emile Beauvais, who's the lawyer for Donald Trump, is scoring points with Keith Davidson. He looks very uncomfortable in testifying. The guy's a lawyer. He's testifying about other clients. And yes, he's made a living out of representing people who were going to go public with stories about famous people until they were paid off and entered into a contract. Call it what you want, right? That's the society we live in. These people have to be represented. And so I'm fine with Keith Davidson representing him. What does that matter to the one that matters in the courtroom? The Donald Trump, Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal conspiracy? Absolutely nothing. There are more audios coming of Michael Cohen. In fact, there's one in particular that I like a lot. It's going to be played for the jury coming up soon. Maybe when Michael Cohen takes the stand, but maybe before. It's between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, where Donald Trump basically says, use cash so there's not a paper trail to cover his tracks, because nothing like a cover-up when you're not doing anything wrong, to pay off Stormy Daniels. Let's listen to that clip.
And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
Don't pay for cash.
No.
Okay, you be the judge. The other side in their opening, Donald Trump's side in their opening, and Donald Trump in social media and everything else, when he can't figure out what the gag order means. We got Donald Trump saying, I can't testify, I've been gagged. No, that's not what the gag order says. But let's leave that aside for a minute. His lawyers know the truth. They keep saying there's nothing to see here. There's no crime. There's no election interference. There's just a business transaction on the up and up. It's not a crime to pay somebody in return for them not talking. We were shaken down. We were extorted. Donald Trump's the victim. That's the story, right? Because the victim of an extortion plan often goes through elaborate lengths and an elaborate plan to cover up the tracks of it and change it on his business records in order to be a payment to his lawyer, who's entered into a straw man transaction with the person who wants to be paid before or they're going to the press with the story of out of court sex with Donald Trump. You do all of that. You set up an elaborate false company whose sole purpose is to make the payoff. You use code names for Donald Trump. You talk in hushed tones. You have the lawyers set up the payment plan and set up the contract to benefit Donald Trump. You have the media company, which is National Enquirer, not want to take payments directly from Donald Trump or Michael Cohen. You do all of these things, these secret, elaborative cover-up things, because you're not committing a crime, right? What do you do? Here's a rhetorical question. What do you do if you don't believe you're committing a crime and you're on the up and up before your lawyers get a hold of the case? What do? You do it straight. You pay Stormy Daniels. You enter into Trump Organization or some entity for Donald Trump that he sets up, Payoff LLC, pays Stormy Daniels directly. And they record it as, I don't know what, they record it as nothing. Comes out of Donald Trump's personal bank account. They 1099 Stormy Daniels as a settlement payment, right? So she has to pay taxes on it. You may or may not be able to take it as a deduction. You call it a day. You don't call up your lawyer and have a secretly recorded conversation about setting up a fake company to avoid paying her cash, have Michael Cohen set up the company and then repay him 4 times that so he can pay for his taxes so it doesn't look like income to him. Did you follow all that? That's why you come to Legal AF. I wanted to talk about what I started the hot take with is the Cohen tapes, but they're not a surprise. There's more. As we get them off the list and otherwise, we'll bring them to you here on Legal AF. You may even hear them first before the jury. Some of the clips, the last one I just played, you did hear first before the jury because we played it 6 or 8 months ago on a hot take. So I'm going to continue to follow what I find interesting about the Trump trial from a trial lawyer perspective who practices in New York courts just like this one, primarily on the defense side. I've been against prosecutors. I know what courtrooms like this are like. And I'm going to give it to you from my perspective. One place, Midas Touch Legal AF, right here on this network. And then you can follow me, Michael Popak. Go over to the YouTube channel for Midas Touch.